Welcome in to another week's episode of Allen Athletics here on WACH-FOX 57. I'm Kate Crenshaw. Glad to have you with us here on this Sunday morning as we walk into the month of February, which means the close of the regular season for men's and women's basketball is on the horizon. The regular season will wrap up at the end of this month, and conference tournament play looms short thereafter. We'll be joined today by both head men's basketball coach Shawn Walker and head women's basketball coach Olivia Gaines as they recap each of their big wins in the battle for Taylor Street rivalry over Benedict College this past Saturday. The women emerging with a 76-72 win, and then the men followed that up with a 59-52 victory over the Tigers. We'll recap each of those two games and also look ahead to some upcoming road trips that both teams have, as they'll spend roughly the next month playing on the road with very little home games in between, but they will wrap up the regular seasons here at John Hurst Adams Gymnasium. For the men on February 24th, they take on Morehouse College, and then both the men and the women's teams will take on Clark Atlanta on February the 26th. We'll preview some upcoming games for both teams and recap the season to date when we come back here on Allen Athletics.
Right here, there's a better way to travel, where we're proud to be local, but we're more than just your local airport. Here, you can go from garage to gate in minutes instead of traveling to travel.
Who wants to drive an hour up 77 anyway?
With quick find parking and multi-airline kiosks, we're designed to save you time. So for your next trip, check CAE first. The Columbia Metropolitan Airport. Fly local, fly with neighbors, fly with ease.
At Founders Federal Credit Union, we know success is a team effort. We're always cheering for you, side by side, so you can dream big and achieve your goals. Offering products and services that put you in the lead, whether that's helping you buy a car, build your savings, or supporting your community. We're here with the financial support you need. That's teamwork. Score big with Founders Federal Credit Union. Relax with Founders.
I think my images truly portray dynamic women, like being bold, being fearless. Growing up, I did not see what I wanted to be. There was just a lack of Black women, business owners, entrepreneurs, creatives. That's how I just started taking pictures. And from there, I figured out that I wanted to be a photographer for women of color. It takes a village to be a Black woman, to live and survive as a Black woman. It takes support. I found my niche and I'm sticking to it.
Each year, the South Carolina Education Lottery raises millions of dollars for scholarships and grants that help students prepare for their dream career, just like Kristen.
We're back here on Allen Athletics. Pleased to be joined alongside head women's basketball coach Olivia Gaines. Coach, it's always good to get a win, but when you get a rivalry win, it means just a little bit more. Congrats on the 76-72 win over Benedict College this past Saturday. Before we dive into the game, what was your first experience like in the battle for Taylor Street?
It was fun. My kids really enjoyed the moment. Anytime you get a rivalry game, it's going to be off the charts, and that was every bit of that. The fans was amazing, the band, the cheerleaders, all that. So it was every bit of HBCU experience, and I enjoyed it. And
there was a lot that went into it. I know you guys had some prospects on campus, hopeful future Yellow Jackets. Mm-hmm. There was the band involved. Both cheerleading squads were here. It was a sold-out gymnasium. For you as a coach, with all of that going on, how do you make sure your players stay focused on the game at hand too?
I think it's just, I got some veteran kids who's been here for a while, and just kind of getting the freshmen and some of the underclassmen just kind of understand what they're about to see. So they kind of talk them through it. And for me, I'm kind of used to a sold out crowd. I played at South Carolina, so I was fine with it. It was fun. It was fun to be able to coach in an environment like that. So my kids, I think we were kind of nervous at first, but I think we rise to the occasion. So. And
as we dive into the game, it came away with a 4-point victory for you, but it was not maybe the start you might have been looking for. A competitive first quarter, you were trailing 19-18 after one. Then you go into the halftime break down by 7. What were your takeaways from that first half that created that deficit? Then what was the message at the break?
I think the crowd kind of did play a part. I think we were a little bit nervous. especially some of my underclassmen. I know a few of them actually told me that. It's like, coaches, the noise, you know what I'm saying? So me calling out the offense, they can't really hear it. So, and I told them, you guys are gonna have to be coaches on the floor. It's gonna be times where you can't hear me, you know what I'm saying? And in that moment, my point guards, I'm asking for them just to own the floor. And that was pretty much my message at halftime. Like, you're not gonna be able to hear my voice, right? So just get your teammates in the spots they're supposed to be, and we'll be fine. But we can't go out here and just freelance and not run an offensive set. So that was my biggest message. And just, don't get outworked. I feel like Benedict at the first half was outworking us, and that's not our brand of basketball. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna win some games and lose some games, but to get outworked, that's not what we're gonna do here.
And I know a player that you count on a lot, just both in the locker room and on the floor, most days, but especially on Saturday, she gave you a season high in minutes, was Imani Bird. It really felt like when she was on the floor, the team had more of a calmness about them.
Yeah, I just had a conversation with Imani actually the day before the game, and I'm just telling her what I just need a little bit. I need a little bit more, right? And our conversation went really, really good. We watched some film. I showed her some of the things that she does really, really well, and some of those things she needs to continue to do just to be a little bit more consistent. And I think her confidence is back where I need it to be, so I'm happy for Imani. And her injury is not as bad as it was, so I think that's slowly, fading away, which I'm happy about. But her production is really, really important. And she's not a point guard, but she's a floor general. So even if my point guard can't get us set up, she can. So.
And it really felt like, too, with how Imani's injury has rehabbed, overall your team stayed in pretty good shape this year.
Oh, yeah. Everybody's healthy, praying for it to stay that way.
Let's keep it going, keep the injuries off the injury list, right? Everybody stays healthy. Yeah. And you come out of that game with a rally victory. I know oftentimes this year your team hasn't sustained many losses, but it must feel good to see your team overcome some adversity as well.
It does, because I think that's my biggest thing. I tell them all the time, like, I'm worried about how we can fight through adversity when we are down. Sometimes it is a struggle for us to get over that hump, but I was really, really proud because as you know, if you watch the Edward Waters game, it was a hard time for us to overcome that. But just to fight, just to have the will not to give up, I was really, really proud, and I told them that.
What was the biggest in-game adjustment you saw your team make that you were most proud of?
Defensively, just locking in and just trying to take away the paint. They got a lot of paint touches, a lot of open threes, and but we're getting better, so they did make those adjustments. And defensively, we just have to be better. So that's something that we're preaching day in and day out. Even our film session later on the day, it'll be the same thing. Like, defensively, we have to lock in on the defensive end. So, yeah.
A 76-72 win over Benedict College this past Saturday. That was one rivalry game in the books. Allen has another one on the horizon coming up this weekend in Edward Waters. Take a short break and preview upcoming games when we come back.
Right here, there's a better way to travel, where we're proud to be local, but we're more than just your local airport. Here, you can go from garage to gate in minutes, instead of traveling to travel.
Who wants to drive an hour up 77 anyway?
With quick find parking and multi-airline kiosks, we're designed to save you time. So for your next trip, check CAE first. The Columbia Metropolitan Airport. Fly local, fly with neighbors, fly with ease.
At Founders Federal Credit Union, we know success is a team effort. We're always cheering for you, side by side, so you can dream big and achieve your goals. Offering products and services that put you in the lead, whether that's helping you buy a car, build your savings, or supporting your community. We're here with the financial support you need. That's teamwork. Score big with Founders Federal Credit Union. Relax with Founders.
Back here with head women's basketball coach Olivia Gaines. Coach, you just played on Saturday. You've got a quick turnaround for what is a rescheduled game due to some snow we had back in January. Savannah State comes into town. This is a Savannah team that just came off a win over Edward Waters this past weekend. What are you seeing from what seems to be a talented Tiger squad?
They are very talented. I think I told my team just yesterday, their record is not how they're going to come out here and play. This team is really good, well coached. I think they're really, really disciplined on the offensive end. I think where we get the advantage is we have a lot more bodies than they have. So I'm excited about it. Yeah, we have to stay true to who we are, and we have to be a little bit more disciplined on the offensive end and being able to play great defense. But I like our chances.
When this game was originally canceled, it was about a day before it was supposed to happen, so I'm sure you had plenty enough scout already built for this team. Has the scout changed much in the 2 weeks from that original date? Are they a much different team or pretty similar to what you saw back then?
I would say it has changed just simply because their starters for some of the teams they played before they get to us has changed, and some of those kids we didn't have on the scout. So again, like I tell my kids all the time, a scout report is a scout report, but you guys also have to be able to make in-game adjustments. So if a kid hits a 3 on you and it was noted that she can't hit threes, now we have to make that adjustment. So,
Coach, at the beginning part of this season, you guys remained on the road. We didn't see you here much. And then it was this middle portion of the season where all you've done is spend time at home. But for the final lap of the year, the final month of the season, you're going back on the road for 3 weeks. As a coach, do you have to make any adjustments with your team, or is it like, hey, we've already been through this for the first month of the season, we're just going to do it for the last month too?
I would say no adjustments. I think the biggest thing is just keeping us locked in when we're on the road. I think sometimes, I don't know why, it's a little bit more easier for us to win at home, but I think it's just a comfortable thing too. But it has to be comfortable for us to win when we're on the road too. So I think we're going to pretty much do the same thing that we've been doing, and just hopefully, the kids lock in and know every game is important as conference tournament is just kind of creeping in on us. So.
It certainly is creeping in. Of course, this year's conference tournament a little bit different, with certain teams hosting a first-round game before the Final Four all converge together. As your team works through this final month of the season, the regular season wraps up February 26th. What are some things your team has to do to maybe shore up some areas that you're looking to improve on before the conference tournament arrives?
I would say our leaders have to be leaders. And we got some seniors, and they're last go around. And I've met with some of them as well, and they want it, you know what I'm saying? So now it's just about making sure everybody is locked in, knowing scout reports, getting up the extra shots like you're supposed to, taking care of your body, stay hydrated, and just being disciplined. That's my biggest thing. I think if we do those things, I do like our chances, but everybody has to do it.
You mentioned one of those seniors as well that I saw on Saturday play some big-time minutes for you was Juju Harrington.
Yep.
She's one that's worked her way both as a starter and a reserve key player this year. What did she do on Saturday to be so impactful?
I think it's how she practiced. Juju had been practicing really, really well, and her defense was definitely a big part of why we won, but also her offense. So I'm definitely. I told her after the game, I was like, I'm really proud of you, because I think it's been a long time due since she had a good basketball game. So, shout out to Juju.
Coach, congrats on the big win this past weekend over Benedict, and good luck on the road. I know there will be some luggage trips back and forth the next few weeks, so we'll catch you when you're home, and best of luck.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
She's Olivia Gaines. I'm Kate Crenshaw. We'll be right back.
Right here, there's a better way to travel, where we're proud to be local, but we're more than just your local airport. Here, you can go from garage to gate in minutes instead of traveling to travel.
Who wants to drive an hour up 77 anyway?
With quick find parking and multi-airline kiosks, we're designed to save you time. So for your next trip, check CAE first. The Columbia Metropolitan Airport. Fly local, fly with neighbors, fly with ease.
At Founders Federal Credit Union, we know success is a team effort. We're always cheering for you, side by side, so you can dream big and achieve your goals. Offering products and services that put you in the lead, whether that's helping you buy a car, build your savings, or supporting your community. We're here with the financial support you need. That's teamwork. Score big with Founders Federal Credit Union. Relax with Founders.
Welcome back here to Allen Athletics. Pleased to be joined alongside head men's basketball coach Shawn Walker. Coach, always good to pick up a victory on the season. I know for your team this year, you've overcome some adversity, and on Saturday, you got a big marquee win over rival Benedict College. What were some of your takeaways in taking down the Tigers?
Yeah, well, the first order of business, I would say, Kate, is it's always great to win. We've had wins few and far between this year, so obviously having a chance to come home and win a game was big for us. To win another SIAC game is big for us. To win a SIAC game on our side of the league is big for us. And then obviously, beating Benedict, the expectation is high. That game is highly anticipated, I should say. And so having the opportunity to win that game was also important, and I'm very happy for our players.
You come away with the victory, and like most of your games this year, it was close down to the very end. But this time your team came out on top. We go first to the first half. Your team went down into the break down by 1. What were your thoughts going through your head through those first 20 minutes?
Well, I was very concerned when we came out and gave up 2 3-pointers to begin the game. That was a point of emphasis that we had that we just definitely could not have done in this game. So consequently, those were only 2 3-pointers that we gave up throughout the game. But I was a little concerned. We were up 7, playing relatively well. We got down got down 6 or so, and then got up 7, and then did what we normally do, and so we were down 1, but I was a little bit concerned because we just had not played smoothly enough. Our defense was good, and normally is. We gave up 28 points in a half, and then the second half we came out and really shut down. We were able to rebound, but we missed some opportunities to open the game up, I thought. And coming down the stretch, I think we were up 8 or 9 here in under a minute, and we don't go to the free throw line and make 2 in a row at any time. But we won. We won the game. I'm very happy that we were able to. We can always draw a lot of things that we don't do well, but when you don't do things well and you win, it's still gratifying.
A 59-52 win over Benedict on Saturday. And, Coach, in that second half, from about the 8-minute mark on, your team never trailed at any point once again. Through those first 12 minutes, though, it was still that back-and-forth close game. I know those latter halves of games have been where wins have just slipped away through your fingers. What was different for your team on Saturday to hold on to that lead?
Well, I think, we turned Benedict over some. I think Benedict made some mistakes that they don't normally make. Our freshman point guard, I call him Juju, Hunter Johnson, was remarkable. He made a couple big plays for us. And kind of what happens to us, I always think between that 8-minute timeout on down, particularly more or less that's between 6 minutes and on in, most good teams have one player, maybe 2, but one particularly that they can throw the ball to and get a bucket, right? That they can kind of get them through that rough spot where you don't necessarily have to run a play, but the ball finds a guy and he makes a play. We don't really have a guy like that. So we play by committee all the time, and it makes it kind of difficult. So you can take a good look at the plays that Juju made inside that amount of time. We had some bad turnovers in that amount of time that Benedict didn't capitalize on. We toughed it out. I always say the first team to 60 for us is going to win. We didn't get 60, we got 59, but we missed 4 or 5 free throws there in the last minute. So again, it was a great win for the program, a great win for Allen University and its community, and it'll be a tougher game when we go to Benedict later in February.
You mentioned Juju Johnson. He leads your team with 13 points on Saturday. What have you seen from his development where at the beginning of the season he was a reserve role player for you? Now he's seeing an increase in minutes.
Yeah, well, first of all, that's a testament to him being a really good kid. He's waited his turn, and by happenstance, he's able to play. I mean, MJ Ray's hurt, got hurt the night before this game in practice and couldn't play. And MJ's been in and out of the lineup some. Juju's been right there. Jeremiah Francis is doing the very best that he can to try to kind of finish his career with his health situation. And so the opportunity for Juju to be able to play some minutes and to play well it has not only been important to him, but it's been important to us. And we need him to play well, and he's done some timely things that were really good for us. He makes a lot of mistakes, but he's also a freshman and probably playing himself to be one of the most important freshmen in this conference. He really is super important for us.
Do you have a timetable on the return from the ankle injury for MJ?
I don't know. I mean, he had an Achilles issue going over Christmas, and then he twisted his ankle and it was really swollen on Friday night. I mean, and it was unbelievable. Just 5 minutes left in practice, and it happens. So we're hoping to get him back. We have a tough stretch here coming up, with 4 games in 4 or 5 days, really. So I'm hoping that we'll end up getting him back. The last time that he played in the game, he didn't really play well. So I was hoping that he would come back and be able to play well and get back into his groove. We're hopeful that he'll return healthy soon.
One note you mentioned a little bit earlier on was how this year's team doesn't have that single star figure that's averaging 30 a night. It's a very balanced attack for you. Saturday was much of the same. Every player who stepped onto the floor scored at least 1 point in the win. How important was that balanced attack to take down the Tigers?
Well, it's very important for us. I mean, we're not a super explosive team. We get a lot of shots that we don't make. We squander some opportunities away. But I think the best part about our team is that you have a scouting report and a guy that Peyton Weathersby get 23, 24 points one night, and MJ Ray plays 2 minutes because he doesn't play well, but MJ can get 25 the next night and Peyton can get 4 or 5. If you figure out, we need to figure out how to get Peyton off and and MJ off, and then have a contribution from Juju, and then have a contribution from our post play, that we can get the ball inside, and we need to collectively inside come up with 10, 11, 12 points. Sometimes seemingly offense is difficult for us. It's not that we don't get the shots that we want to get. We just, squander some opportunities away. But hey, as long as our players are trying to do like I asked them to do, which they are, they're fighting hard, they have great attitudes, they're here ready to practice today, they show up on time, they're spirited. Anything can happen. I'm giving them the stories of North Carolina State a year ago and Final Four appearance when they went into the play-in tournament in the ACC. We're still hopeful that we can put some wins together. I think we're probably the most dangerous team in this league. I don't think anybody wants to play us. We just need to get good enough so that the outcome is the way we want.
Coach, a player that's impressed me really over the last week or so with his play has been Ethan Hill. He's really stepped up for you, made some big-time shots, especially from the perimeter. Do you see him taking short steps in his development to work his way into a bigger role?
He has. Ethan has had to have an attitude adjustment from the beginning. Obviously, transfers come in. A lot of times they have high expectation that things don't quite go the way they want them to go, and emotionally, their emotional toughness is not always the greatest. So, he's fortunately just beginning to come around a little bit. We're talking to him about how every shot does not have to be a three-point shot, but he will go to the glass on offense. He will go to the glass on defense, and we need him to be a better defender. But he helps us a lot. What Jordan, Edmond does not do, Ethan does, and vice versa, which gives us a good balance there. So we do expect Ethan to shoot the ball, and we need him to make some shots. I wish he'd make a couple more, be a really good threat for us. But he's playing more minutes. He's playing well, and I like what we're getting out of him right now.
Ethan Hill was big. He also blocked a shot off the glass on the defensive end in Saturday's 59-52 win over Benedict. We'll take a short break, preview some upcoming road trips for Allen when we come back.
Right here, there's a better way to travel, where we're proud to be local, but we're more than just your local airport. Here, you can go from garage to gate in minutes instead of traveling to travel.
Who wants to drive an hour up 77 anyway?
With quick find parking and multi-airline kiosks, we're designed to save you time. So for your next trip, check CAE first. The Columbia Metropolitan Airport. Fly local, fly with neighbors, fly with ease.
Back here with head men's basketball coach Shawn Walker. Coach, a jam-packed week ahead of you. 4 games in a matter of about 6 days, and it starts with a road trip to defending SIAC champion Clark Atlanta coming up on Wednesday. What are you seeing from a Panther squad that seems to be a little different from where they were last year?
Well, they're still really, really good. They are talented. They are deep. They're big and strong inside with Shamani Fuller and Montez Jones. Their guard play, they return 2 or 3 of the guys that played for them last year, and their point guard position is a little bit different. Obviously, they lost the player of the year in the league. Well, Clark's been a little up and down here lately, but they're still super explosive, average a lot of points. They can shoot it. They can drive it. They're very well coached. It's going to be a very difficult task for us. And we're going on the road for the first time. We have not been on the road in 2025. We have not been on the road since the early part of December. So this is going to be different for us, and I'm hoping that's going to give us a new light on the season as well. A new change of scenery. Hopefully we can get on the road and spend some time together connecting with one another. And every game for us is tough, but certainly these next 2 games are 2 teams that are at the top of the league.
A tough task ahead of you on Wednesday. Arguably just as tough, if not more tough of a task, awaits you less than 24 hours later against Morehouse. As far as not much of a preview of Morehouse, but for your team itself, how do you prepare for 2 opponents on back-to-back days?
Well, the 2 opponents on back-to-back days, as far as I'm concerned, that's like playing in conference tournament play. That's a tournament game, all right? You don't get to rest. You rest after the game. That doesn't necessarily cause us any problems. With the way we would propose to have to travel, I ask we play 2 games in one day and let's do it like AAU. It doesn't really matter to us. We're going to practice hard anyway. The biggest piece to the puzzle, though, is Morehouse presents us a lot of problems because Morehouse is big and physical. They may be the most physical team in this conference. They're 6'4", 6'5" at every position. They're starting point guards, 6'5". But not only are they tall, but they're big and strong. They could conceivably cause us more problems than the opposing teams that we have. They caused us a lot of problems last year, but just because of their physicality.
Coach, as you wrap up this turn, minus Savannah State, you've seen everyone already want that remains on your schedule. How are you seeing the league stack up ahead of the close of the regular season?
There's not much difference between the bottom teams and the top teams other than wins. And so winning teams know why they win. They find a way. And teams that lose sometimes don't know why they lose, and they find a way. Unfortunately for us, we're at the bottom end of that spectrum. But we have a good idea of what we need to do to win. And we've been in all those games that those top teams that we've played, those top teams, and led. We just have not been able to finish. And the top teams are beating each other off. And there's been a couple surprises where Albany State's really good, and they've beaten Morehouse and Clark and everybody but Miles. Miles is the best team in the league, but there's a very small margin between all the teams in the league. So this could be a major surprise this year. You know, Benedict, I think, is as good as anybody. Benedict's, I think, won 4 games. We've won 5 games. You know, Lamar Owen, it's not 1 but 2 or 3 games. Lane is, I don't know if Lane's beat anybody since they beat us, but really good team. So, you know, the league is exciting this year. I wish I was just a fan and I could just watch and not have to coach against these coaches and play against these great players. But because the league is good and because the league is balanced, that makes me optimistic on how we can finish the year and just start some momentum as we move into hopefully getting into conference tournament play.
Coach, we're excited for the final month of the season. Good luck on your upcoming road trip down to Georgia, and we'll catch up with you next week.
Thank you very much.
He's Shawn Walker. I'm Kate Crenshaw. We'll be right back.
I think my images truly portray dynamic women, like being bold, being fearless. Growing up, I did not see what I wanted to be. There was just a lack of Black women, business owners, entrepreneurs, creatives. That's how I just started taking pictures. And from there, I figured out that I wanted to be a photographer for women of color. It takes a village to be a Black woman, to live and survive as a Black woman. It takes support. I found my niche and I'm sticking to it.
Each year, the South Carolina Education Lottery raises millions of dollars for scholarships and grants that help students prepare for their dream career, just like Kristen.
And that closes things out for us on this week's episode of Allen Athletics. As always, you can catch up on past episodes on demand. Just go over to YouTube and search Allen University Athletics. There you'll find all kinds of action from recent episodes and look ahead as we will air weekly episodes there as well. Also here on WACH-FOX 57. You can also visit us online at auyellowjackets.com. Again, that's auyellowjackets.com. That's your online home for rosters, recaps, schedules, and scores. Anything you need to know about the Yellow Jackets is online at auyellowjackets.com. Well, that'll wrap us up this week on Allen Athletics. Be sure to catch us back here each and every Sunday on WACH-FOX 57. Until then, I'm Kay Crenshaw saying so long. We'll see you next time. And as always, remember to smile.